Hello there and Happy New Year. It is the 1st of January over here and I have a day off, so I have decided to play a little bit. I hope you have set yourself some realizable goals for the year, because having goals is really quite important as we experience happiness as we approach our goals. I also set myself some goals, even though I'm always a bit scared to set goals, because whenever I set any goals or have any aspirations, life usually just throws a wrench in things, and that is very demoralizing, but it is very important, so I have set some goals. If you want, you can leave a comment what your goals are for 2026, and whatever your goals are, I hope you accomplish them. Speaking of goals and accomplishments, I have decided to start a new series for Foundation. And I have chosen an interesting map. As you can see, there's a big hill over here, very tall hill. And a very interesting river with a lot of cliffs. So I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to cross this river or if we're just going to be stuck on one side of it. We're gonna have to see. But either way, I thought this was a very interesting map to start on. And we are going to start over here in this general area, I think. With our first little village. I'm not exactly sure where we are going to expand. There's a lot of forest out here. And lots of hills. And then over here we also have lots of hills, lots of forest. Of course, if we were to build a castle out here, would probably mean that we should start down here. No, actually, maybe this is the better place to start. I just don't like being so far away from the fish. Right, it'll take a while before I'll be able to get to the fish. But no, we're gonna start here. I know, fish is really quite valuable and all that, but if we're thinking about that, we'd want to build a castle, then the city center should be somewhere down here. I also like the location of these hills. I'm pretty sure I will be able to build a monastery or so on top of one of them. But for now, we're just going to place our village center down, and we're gonna have to choose this carefully here, because this time around I'm planning to not move it at all. It is going to stay right there. That is the center, the village center, and it will stay right there. So I think, it probably should just be down here. Let's make sure it's not directly next to any slopes. Yep, right here seems good to me. There we go. And now we're gonna have to choose what to do. This time around, I plan to spare you all the boring details and only show you the gameplay that is actually interesting, because sometimes, of course, I will need to think about what I'm going to do for a while, so if there's some cuts here and there, this is why. Alright, let's accept this villager here. As you can see, I've done a little bit of planning, and this time around I'm going to try to keep everything a little bit more around the actual village center. The only things I am not too sure of yet is this stonecutter camp here, because it might be nice to have the stonecutter camp closer to the stone. But it's built now. If you see what I've done here, I have created some housing districts out there, and I've already planned basically my road layout. Considering that I want the big church up on this hill, or like a monastery complex up on this hill, I definitely want to have a road from the town square going directly toward that. And then of course, you know, a road that goes this way, a road where, you know, travelers would come into town, and so on and so forth. Let me just pause that real quick. And I've tried to keep all amenities and workplaces closer to the village center while putting the housing a little bit further away, thinking that that would probably be how I would want to plan my city. So as I said, I'm still a little bit hesitant about this setup here. So I'm going to try to see if perhaps it might be nice instead to put it like so. It's a little bit annoying that I can't see the overlay while I'm doing this. So in this case, I think I would want to put it along this road like that. Of course, they might, like always, find some sort of way to get around the planned roads that I have been putting down. You can also see that this storage facility here is a little bit too big for this plot. So what I'd actually need to do is probably get it sideways like this, and then it'll still be too big. It's just too big of a building in general. So if I'm considering the overall layout, I think I'd rather have it like this. Right, and then if we check, we will have some space here on the side where we are now going to be able to place our stonecutter camp. I'm going to place it right on the corner here. So both of these arrows are connected to the actual road. And yep, there's going to be a little bit of an overlap here with the actual storage and the camp, which, you know, stuff like this does happen. It is making me consider if perhaps I want to change the overall layout here, and honestly, I think yes, we're going to do that. We're going to change the layout slightly. So over here, we're going to make a bit more of a square shaped path, like so. That way they should be able to get in there. Right, so if we do that like so, and now we check, then all of this is possible to be reached, aside from over here. So let's delete that down. Now this building is completely accessible. I'm not sure if all the buildings need to be 100% accessible. If we see some problems, we're going to probably fix it. I'm also going to push this building a little bit further back. And then again, we are going to see if we can create access. And it looks like we were able to do that. Of course, the reason I'm painting these corridors and everything is so that we can create sort of like a hierarchy of roads where we have some main roads of which everything else is going to branch off, right? So we're going to want to have people walking down specific paths so that we can create the roads that we want to create. You're gonna have to be a little bit careful when doing these kind of things because they just might walk wherever they want, right? And they don't like to walk through forests as much as they like to walk through open spaces. So you're always gonna have to be a little careful about that. create a little pocket here. As you can see, already some houses are being built, and I completely didn't realize that I was not following my own design plan up here. So let's change that. There we go. That should do it. So, like I said, we've made a bit of a central plaza here where everything that they need, from food to water to places to work, store things, is all in this general area, and then housing is further away. And that is hopefully then going to mean that down the line we can create a bustling town square here as we move any of these things away to more suitable locations down the line. Because down the line we might change this entire town square, but for now this is what it is, and the only thing that I want to keep is obviously the roads. So that said, we're gonna have to start building some things, and I think what is going to come first is the woodcutters hut, so that we can build this. And of course we're gonna want to have 3 builders. There we go. They are now going to start working on this. So my goal for this series is probably also to build a big castle up here. This mountain here lends itself pretty good to a big castle. I already said I want to create a monastery up on this hill overlooking the city, and the city is probably mostly going to sprawl throughout this entire area. We're gonna have to see what any of these resources out here will yield. Hopefully we're gonna find some iron and some gold, and I hope that we're gonna be able to build a bridge here, because that would be really cool. Building a bridge right here, that would be pretty cool. As for where I want to do the hunting and everything, I'm looking at this general area out here for mostly the hunting and such. We've also got the Great Hall here, so we're probably going to build a bit of a complex up here where the manor family is going to live. So the administrative family is going to live up here. So we're probably going to have a tax office, a bailiff's office, all that is going to be located up here, probably on this hill, while the general populace is going to be living down here. At least that is the plan. We'll have to see if everything goes according to plan, which it usually doesn't, does it? As far as income goes, the early income that I'm probably going to generate is from levying taxes as well as selling wood planks. Let's also start building this so we can start gathering some stone. And they're building their homes right now, which that's perfectly fine. And as you can see, it is now creating the roads that I wanted them to create. Like, I wanted to have this little fork here. It is not always easy to create the road layout that you want to create. Let's prioritize this actually. I hope we're actually going to be able to reach that. If not, it would probably give me a notification about it. Perhaps they cannot reach it, so we're gonna have to try to see if we can fix that by perhaps creating some access here. Oh wow, it's still not accessible, so I think let's just take this whole Wow. This thing is stingy. We still don't have access for whatever reason, but we can assign some woodcutters now, and we're gonna do a whole whopping 3. Still don't have access to a building, which I don't understand. Looks like they have access to a building, but the arrows seem to not have updated. Alright, let's also create access here. And perhaps we should just give them access to the whole thing. Alright. Now, let's decide where we're going to cut down wood. Since we want a lot of foot traffic to go through here, I'm definitely going to assign this whole area for wood cutting. Because, yeah, like I said, I want the main road to come from over there, leading in here. That is currently the goal. And then I suppose we're also going to get rid of this whole forest up here. Yeah, let's get rid of all this. And we might want to leave 1 or 2 of these trees. We'll see. We'll see what they do. For now, let's just get them to work. And let's get some stonemasons as well. We're gonna need a lot of stone down the line. And we'd want to build a well. It's a bit of a priority. Because as you can see, our happiness is pretty bad. Lacking refined food, water, rustic food, housing, and service. The most immediate one we can fix is water, so let's work on that. We're just going to need some wood and some stone for that. Alright, so we're gonna start building all this. And this is the start of our town, and I quite like the layout so far. It looks very much how I would imagine things to be, you know, the houses a bit further away from the center where everyone's just busy doing something. So I'm seeing a bit of a pathing issue where everybody seems to need to go through there to reach that storage. And I don't know why. But I suppose it's because they're not really walking through here. So if we were to go ahead and block this path, let's see if they're gonna start going the path here instead. And yep, they are. The well is coming along. That should fix our happiness. right. We'll want an edict as soon as possible, and if you check, the first edict is down here. And we'll probably also want to get to the stonemason's hut and the butchering as soon as possible as well. So we'll need some prosperity. Also really need to keep an eye on our income. No. Let's focus on everything down here first. We'll want to start gathering berries just right about now. And I'll catch you up on the progress once we've made a little bit more progress. Alright. Some time has passed and we have finished our sawmill, which we're going to assign 2 carpenters there for now, I think. Let's also go ahead and make sure that they can reach the whole building. I would hope they can now reach the whole building. Because we will want to work on creating some lumber so we can actually trade with Northbury. The reason we want to trade with Northbury is so we can sell some planks and then also sell some herbs and some meat once we unlock it. Being self-sustaining at the beginning can actually be a bit tricky. You have some upkeep to consider. In our case, we have 1 upkeep for this sawmill, and then I think we'll have... Actually, that's it for now. We have 1 gold upkeep. But eventually some other things are gonna cost some upkeep. Like I think the stall takes some upkeep. Yep, the stall is upkeep. And I think this is 2 upkeep here for the manor house. Alright, so now that that is built, we can think about the next chapter here, and I think we'll want to start on some of these. Oh, okay, so we're building 2 houses here. That actually looks really good. That's exactly what I would want. The warehouse would probably be good. But I think actually we should start here. We still have 3 unemployed people right now, which I think we need 1 for the granary, 1 for the storage, and then do we need 1 here for the manor house for the Great Hall? I don't actually know. I think the Great Hall needs someone. The tax office will need someone, but early on you don't really make that much money from taxes. It's almost not worth it. So do we need these people? Could get another carpenter, and then yes, let's get these 2 people. This brings us up to 16. I don't want to get too many people early on while we're still trying to stabilize, because the more people we get, the more houses we need. But I think for now we should be okay. Of course I say that, and housing is insufficient pops up right afterwards. Maybe we should build a house in here, but I'm not sure. No, this is a too important spot for a house. but I suppose over here would be a good place for a house. And again, still kind of taking out stone. No, we're not going to build a house for now. We're going to see. With 16 people, we will need 8 houses, right? So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'd need one more house. There should be space in here for one house if we just give them a little bit more space. Pretty sure they would be able to build another house in there. Let's just get this whole thing painted out. I'm sure they will be able to fit something in there. And if not, then it's not such a problem to have a little bit of unemployment. So we're gonna build the granary next, because that is just going to take some normal wood. I'm gonna try to keep planks for now, until we have unlocked the trade route. Of course, the trade route really doesn't do anything for us until we can actually sell some stuff. Right? Until we actually have these things to sell, the trade route isn't really going to do much for us. And I think out of all the options, it's either hunting or herbs that are going to serve us the best. Polished stone does take a while to create. We aren't even up to 5 prosperity yet anyway. I think as soon as we finish some of these other buildings, and specifically the manor building, actually I think that takes priority. The Great Hall does take priority. Alright, now we just wait again. So in the meantime, I can talk about maybe a little bit of my short-term and long-term goals here. I decided to go for a round village center this time around. Not sure why, I just decided a circle would be fun. I think farmland should probably go over here. Like all this area over here is probably going to be farmland. I've also just noticed that you can probably build like a road up here, so like a little side entrance to the castle. That should be fun. And I hope everyone's having a good start to the new year. There's just something so very satisfying about simply sitting here and watching these little people live their lives. So look at that, our manor house is complete and we are getting some 50 gold. Great. Not too happy with the fact that this road is still kind of going through there, so we're gonna have to try to fix that somehow. So I think the way we're gonna be able to fix that is by just forbidding this whole area here. So they're gonna have to come through the town square. Yep, I like that. I'm gonna keep it like that. So let's maybe remove some of these trees that are growing directly on the road. Come on. That one, for example. New people? Nope, I'm good on people for now. Let's get a market tender. And the sign berries. Alright, we can now discuss getting some money. That's 48. It's gonna make them a little unhappy, so we're gonna wait a little bit before we start doing that. We're gonna want to raise the happiness a little bit more. So right now we're having a bit of a housing problem, and as you can see, they are kind of refusing to build that house out here for whatever reason. Oh wait, there it is. There's so much space here, and they just choose to build a small little hut all the way back there. That is very interesting. Okay, we have a villager path blocked. Problem with the market stall. Okay, I kind of had a feeling that the market stall was going to cause me some issues. So let's go ahead and that should fix it. There we go. Now we're offering berries at the market. I'm seeing a bit of a problem with this road out here. They're not really taking that road, they're just going through here instead. It's okay, right? It's okay, but at the same time, you know, it'd be nice if they were to actually take the main path here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to paint something like so. Let's just see if that works. Alright, let's raise the happiness. Housing is a bit better, rustic food is better. I'm gonna try to not piss them all off completely. Church is a great idea, but if I'm going to go church, I would like to go for a monastery. We have our 20 planks, which we can now unlock this trade route. Which unlocking that brings us the prosperity needed to actually progress down here. So now we can think about how we're gonna want to progress. We will need something to make money. We can get money every now and then from getting it from our villagers. It's not showing any upkeep just yet, but there's going to be upkeep problems. Of course, we could get the edict. The edict is probably a no-brainer. And the one we're gonna go for is actually careful planning. Refund 50% of the tools used after constructing a building. We can also reduce the upkeep of production buildings, which is also interesting. But no, careful planning right now is probably best because we are starting to run out of tools. And it's gonna be a while until we can make tools. And so now that we have unlocked this trade route, we can start by building this. And then once we have this, we can start selling our planks. Mind you, we can only sell it shows you right here the volume 13, right? We can only sell 13 planks for 1 gold each. So that's only 13 gold per month. Gonna have to keep that in mind. But at least as long as we have 13 planks a month, we can make 13 gold a month. So it's a guaranteed income, at least that we have. So currently the upkeep that we're having, it's not really telling me how much upkeep we're having. We should check at the end of the month. Or maybe next month. Because some of these buildings definitely have an upkeep. You know, now that I'm thinking about this, the reason there's no house here is probably because of this road. So what we're gonna have to do is actually, we're gonna have to get rid of that road. Somehow. The only way we can do that is by probably allowing them to go through here. But block this entire area here. We don't walk through it. That way, hopefully, they're gonna walk through here and then go over there. But of course, they might also just walk up there, which that's okay. I wouldn't mind because, again, a path going up here isn't too bad. So let's close this. All right. Yeah, this road is probably the reason they didn't build a house here. So let's get this healed. That should fix it. Alright, so villagers are kind of disappearing through there. Okay. This is sort of exactly the path I want to build toward the monastery. That is actually pretty convenient for me. I'm gonna have to think about sustainable wood chopping as well, though, and hunting, so We'll have to see about all that. We might actually just use this area up here. I'm actually considering up here would be a good spot. If we're gonna do some hunting back here, right? And it makes sense, the manor house is up here, so doing some hunting and everything behind the manor house seems to me like that would be a good spot for it. And then of course over here we'd want to build the monastery. I'm a bit upset about the fact that if we want to build a monastery on top of a hill, we're going to have to buy the whole plot. Unless, of course, you know, we're only going to build it here. But we're going to have to buy 2, which are 8 a month in upkeep, which matters a lot. So we want to make sure we can actually sustain that before we actually start going that way. In the meantime, of course, we could just build a church up there just to get everyone a bit happier. Because we're having a bit of a problem. Yeah. I didn't even realize we didn't even have any berry gatherers. Okay, so because of that, the next settlers that come in, we're gonna have to allow them to come in. And we're gonna have a bit of a problem going forward with housing. Unless we're gonna figure out some more housing. Which we could just put some housing back here. Not exactly sure what else I would put there anyway. It's a bit of a problem that this road is kind of going through there. So again, what I'm probably going to do is... How would I want that? I think I'd like this road to connect like this. So let's create a path. So any visitors that come to go to the manor house are going to take this path instead. Unless... Yeah, I'm never actually sure about this. This is honestly not like the worst here, and then... We just have like another... We just have another house kind of like smushed in here. Yeah, I like that. Let's slap another house right in there. Somehow. The paths are always kind of one of the trickiest parts, if you ask me, about the game. A house is about to be destroyed. Oh, back here? Okay, let's figure that out. Probably this corner here. or over here? That is the problem. Oh, come on. There we go. Now the house is not going to be demolished. I'm going to be very curious where these new settlers here, new arrivals, are going to choose to walk. So let's follow them. Oh, gee. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. We're just going to go around this path again. What we'd have to do is we'd have to close the entire village on this side off. Hoping that their pathfinding is going to make sense. And then not going to go the long way around, which, with my luck, they're going to go the long way around. And we're going to take both of them because we're going to need one here and one there. And the house is being built. I'd be curious to know. Yeah, I like that. I like that plot a lot. Only that... You know, we could probably throw another house in there. Yeah. And I would like to open a path through here. All right. That's done. Let's start collecting planks here. As well as stone and wood. What else? Polished stone, maybe? We're not even producing any yet, so... I do like this layout quite a bit with everything that's sort of busy in the town center. And then housing more around it. Eventually, all of these buildings are probably going to move somewhere else, and we're going to put different stuff in the town center. Like, we might start moving the wood industry away from here because we're about to run out of wood, right? So we're about to take both of these buildings and put them somewhere else to where we are then actually going to have sustainable wood cutting. Which, yeah, I'm thinking around the manor house seems like a good idea, right? This whole area back here probably is kind of nice for that. Okay. They've taken a completely different path this time around. It can be so tedious to try to get them to take the path you want to have them take, right? So now they're basically branching off this path somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. To walk through here instead. Oh, gee. You know, let's just get rid of this. They never behave like you want them to anyway. There. I feel like sometimes you just have to accept, you know, where the main road comes from and then just have to go based on that. But, you know, given that there's, you know, one hill there and another hill there, I would think that the best path would be going straight through. It's just that this is not the path I want them to take. I want them to go down here instead. But if that is the main path they're taking, then that is the main path they're taking. That is just how it is. Do we need anyone currently? No, I think we're good for now. We might want to start building our church though, so getting one person extra. Well, actually we have one person for the church. Actually, no, we will need one person. Okay, we will need a priest. There. And the question, of course, being if we are going to build a monastery or if we're going to build a church. If we're going to build a church... No, see, I think we're going to build a monastery now. We're gonna go all out and we're gonna build a monastery up on this hill. It's gonna be great. And since we just accepted a guy... we have 2 guys that are unemployed. We'll make it a monastery of monks, I think. Yeah. It's gonna be a big project actually. It's gonna be quite fun. It's gonna be a big project. So let's unlock it. And let's only unlock the first level. And over here, do we wanna... No, let's focus on one thing at a time. Why is this not being finished? Come on, you only need one log to finish this. And our merchant is on its way and we have 12 planks, perfect. So we're gonna make some money from that. As you saw, upkeep last month was -2. One from the manor house and one from the sawmill. The manor house is only 1 upkeep? Should be 2. I suppose we didn't have it built for the whole, so right now upkeep is not very large. But as soon as we buy these tiles, it's gonna be more. Okay, actually I have thought of something. If they are so gung-ho on taking this path here, we might as well direct them on the main path over here. So, that's what we're gonna try and do, right? Because I don't want them walking straight through there. So instead we're going to try and get them to actually just, you know, come through there instead, onto the main path there. That should work. Here's a merchant. He's gonna buy 13 planks. Boom. Giving us 13 gold. Perfect. As it stands right now, this village is self-sustained. We could keep this running indefinitely and it would sustain itself. Because we have an income of actually 13 and we're going to have about 3 in upkeep. The manor house should be 2 and the sawmill is 1. Oh, actually we have 2 more buildings that we take upkeep. So the warehouse is another 2. So that's 5, 6. We should have 6 upkeep and 13 income, so we're still positive. As soon as we start with the monastery, we're going to add some upkeep there. In fact, it's going to be 16 upkeep. Plus, we're going to spend 200 up front on this. So we might want to actually start saving some money first before we do this. Because right now we're only at 310. So we should probably start saving some money before we do that. Let's go ahead and use our edict here. It's gonna make everyone a little unhappy. As you can see, minus 30%. They're not very happy about this. Why are you going? Why are you going all the way up there? I will never understand the pathfinding in this game. Right, like why go all the way up there? You come here, and why don't you just take the fastest path? Oh well. Women, we don't want to hire women because we're about to build a monastery with monks. So now we're just gonna wait a little bit again. Alright, so in an effort to fix the paths within the village, I have gone ahead and been a little creative with the forbidden tool. So, the whole village is now surrounded with, actually, never mind. And create an opening there. So, the whole village only has 2 entry points. We have here. This is how you can get in, and this leads you to the town square. There's no way out of here. This is all a dead end. The only other path to take is through here, and then in this valley, and then out through there. Right? Because I would hope that, you know, they would take this path instead of going over this hill. So, hoping that this is going to fix the whole path finding in the game. Of course, they could just do the completely unexpected and they could come from here and then go all the way up there and then go down here. But I hope they don't do that. I hope they will come through here and then take this path here. And now that I'm looking at this, you know, the path is kind of coming from there, so maybe we should make the path like so. Maybe. I don't know. They don't really like going through the forest, but yeah, as you can see, the path is kind of going here, and then I suppose let's make them take the path like so. I'm hoping at least this is going to fix it. It would be great if instead of using a forbidden tool, you had the opposite kind of tool, which is the walk here tool. A pathfinder tool, so to speak. Alright, let's get rid of this whole deforestation area up here. All right. We're about to sell some planks again. We're making a decent amount of them, so selling 13 doesn't hurt us at all. And we're trying to save up some money, so yep, there goes. I think these guys are still going to use the old pathfinding. Let's just pause here real quick to see if we almost nailed it, to be honest. I'm just gonna move things slightly, right? Because if they're gonna come from there, right? So we're gonna divert them from there. I'm just gonna make this a big enough funnel so that pathfinding knows where to go. Okay. So wood is becoming a little sparse. Oh, but already you can see the pathfinding here is doing what I want. Never mind that. We're gonna have to fix that somehow. Not sure how I can fix that other than, you know, buying this territory. I really want them to leave through here though. Like, that is the road I want to have leading out of the territory. I want that to go through this valley and then out. Alright, so here we get the option to help Northbury. And what we're gonna do is actually, we're gonna buy these tiles and we're just gonna have to try to sustain ourselves. This is quite a bold move, but, you know, has to be done. Now, we're gonna have to have a way for our woodcutters to get up there. So we're gonna open this path here. This is going to allow our woodcutters to go up there. Now we can actually go ahead and fix this path a little bit. So if I check here, then yeah, I think I want that to go like this. We'll have to think about the path to the manor house. I'm thinking the manor house being up there. Maybe we'll make a path like this. Okay. And then, so that they really go out here, we're gonna have to lock them in. Right, so now there's no way out other than here. This is the only path to get out of the village once you're in the village. Are these... Where did these guys go? Did they follow like the old pathfinding still? Currently looking at this and being a little confused. Thought I had fixed the pathfinding. Where did these guys walk? Because they shouldn't have been able to get through here. How did they get in here? Unless this is still the old pathfinding. Gee. We're gonna accept one of these men here for a monastery. Right. Which now I'm gonna have to work on that. Let's chop all of this. Boom. And I suppose we'll ignore this for now. And then the monastery. It's going to be quite something. Let me work on that and get back to you. Alright, so here are the plans for the monastery. It's up on the hill like we planned. It's got nun and monk dormitories, as well as a refectory for them to eat in. It has an herb garden over here. It has a berry garden out there. It has a grange to store the resources that it creates. There is a vegetable garden, and there is of course the chapel. The chapel currently can house 24 visitors, not that great. Oh, also there's a monastic scriptorium out here. I might actually instead, come on, let me move it. Attach that here behind it. Of course, we can improve the size of this. There's a lot of space here. We can make this a giant chapel if we so want to. But for our current purposes and our current resources, this is big enough. There's also a big fence around the whole thing. Which, yeah, that is going to take a lot of stone as well. Currently we have 107 stone. The fence alone is 79 stone, so we might not want to start with the fence, but instead start with something else. As far as the pathing goes, I've sort of wanted to continue this path up there. Let me have that so that we've got like a little path going up there from down here. And what we should probably start with is the monk dorms and the refectorium. So let's start with those. And then over here, that's the monk dorms. Let's build that. We can build the other stuff once we want to, once we have the resources for them. But building it bit by bit like this, starting with what we need most, is probably the way to go. And if you think about it, we're gonna need one monk here for the refectory. We're gonna need another one for the church. I'm not sure if regular citizens can actually go to this church. It would be interesting to find out. As you can see, our materials are being brought there on the paths that I have sort of predetermined that they should take. Kind of like the idea of having like a bit of a snaking path here. I don't know if I like it though. We might want to fix it a little bit. Yeah, I think I want them to go like that. Where is this guy going? Oh, going to give her some berries. Yeah, I suppose we've made it a bit difficult to give her berries, all things considered. Right. This is being built. It's coming up rather fast considering we've had a lot of the resources already lying around. That's why it's sometimes not such a bad idea, at least I find it not a bad idea, to stockpile a couple things so that things can be built rather quickly. And we do have another guy here, so we're gonna take the guy in. Almost done. There is another piece of stone here, and I've considered mining it, but then I was like, eh. We should be fine. Got a lot of stone still in the stockpile, and they're gathering more as we speak, so should be fine. If anything, planks might be a problem. Yeah, this path is starting to look exactly like I want it to. Alright. Now we're just gonna have to make sure that anyone leaving is going to take the path I want them to take as well. Alright, let's... okay, we cannot actually assign anyone yet because we don't have any monks yet. But that shouldn't take that long. Yeah. Very satisfying sometimes to see these buildings come up. You know, we've got all the little tools and ramparts and ladders. Always very interesting to watch the whole progress of it. Almost done. Just waiting for another builder. There he comes. And he's about to finish the job now. It's a man on a mission. There we go. Now we can assign some monks. Or we should be able to at least. I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go to these guys. And we're gonna have to... Gee, okay, actually I don't know. I forgot. Ah, okay. There we go. There's a button for it. Yay! So now we've got a refectorian and we can assign berries and vegetables. Yeah, not having access to fish is actually really kind of a problem. But on a plus node, they are taking the path I want them to take now. Isn't that just great? Okay. I suppose we're trying to get to the other side somewhere there. That is odd. Alright, we might need to fix that at some point. Okay. See, so we can gain some planks and some stone here, or we can just get some money. It's a tough choice because we're actually hurting a little bit for gold right now. Some polished stone, on the other hand, is worth 3 per piece, right? Oop, that was the wrong button. So the polished stone isn't worth that much. But 13, so that's 13 plus the polished stone is worth 3. So we sell the polished stone. This is only going to give us 39. Plus another 13 from the planks. Actually, this is worth 52 gold. If we just sell it all. Do we need the gold? Do we need the gold? I'm kind of undecided. With a polished stone, we could build something interesting. Right, let's get the polished stone. Because that is going to allow us to actually change things around a little bit here. Because this needs, oh, it needs 15 polished stone. God damn it, I wanted to build this. I need 15. That is just absurd. Why do you not give me enough polished stone to actually build the thing that I want to build? Oh man. Okay, we could build another rustic gate. Or this one. Suppose we're gonna build that one. Which, you know, I don't know why this needs to be elevated. Like it has quite a few steps, but oh well. It just looks nicer, but we still really don't have any use for our polished stone now. We're just going to keep it until we want to build it, I suppose. Maybe we can buy 2 more from somewhere, right? Where can we buy polished stone? From Castle Harbor, okay. Or from Kinstone Abbey. Kinstone Abbey might be interesting. Anyway, we're gonna have to get our bell tower back. So let's add that here. And I would like to put a cross on top of it. So there you go. And I think we should start building that now. Yes. Yes, the chapel is probably what we need most. Although we also do have a rustic food shortage, so there's that. Anyhow, let's build the chapel. Boom. Yeah, the scriptorium can just wait for a second. Wait. What is this? Why? Yeah, let's just. All of it is forbidden. Fair pathfinding is odd. So odd sometimes. Housing insufficient. Who doesn't have houses? Alright, the monks. Which... aren't they living in here? Oh wait. Yeah, no. Everybody should be fine. Alright, I'm also going to forbid this whole area here. Because that is the vegetable garden. Oh boy, though. The berries are definitely a problem. Most of the berries are back here, so maybe we should move this. Also, I'm curious where these guys are going, and they are going exactly where I want them to go. Magnificent. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this berry hut, if we move it out here, right, it might actually be a bit more productive. We actually move it up here because it's, yeah, it might be more productive out here. Only question, what pathing do I want? Let's get rid of all this for a second. And do it like that. Yep, that's fine by me. That's perfectly fine. Also, this tree bothers me a bit, but we're gonna keep them. We're gonna keep them. Having a few trees is definitely not bad. So, church is coming along. The scriptorium will have to wait a little bit. Herb garden will have to wait a little bit. Migration will have to wait a little bit. Everything just needs to wait for a moment. Just chill. Okay, wait. They're not going where I want them to go. They're going through here and then through here. We're gonna have to close this off. So, but they go this way. Manipulating them is difficult. But I think we've done an okay job. Just over here, the way that they're just, yeah. I thought they just, you know, leave here, but oh well. And we should probably build the vegetable garden. Wait, where are you going with those vegetables? With those berries? Oh, all the way. Okay. Yeah, not having enough rustic food is definitely a problem. And having this berry hut out here, it seems like it's more productive, but at the same time, I don't really like their pathing. Let's have them go like this. All these random roads here, which they're gonna fade over time. They're gonna fade over time. But yeah, the refectorian basically has to just go so far just to grab his berries. Okay, I think the church is done. And yeah. Starting to actually have villagers attend. Let's remove some of these resources here. Okay, delivering herbs and berries. I don't even have the herb garden done. 28 days. Yeah, no. Okay, so the crop field is done. So now everyone has a job, right? We have a refectorian, a priest, and 2 farmers. We could actually have another farmer, so if we get another male immigrant, it's probably not the worst idea to get him involved in this. So now we can paint the crop field. And yeah, the crop field is basically going to be or maybe we should have it mostly on the slope. You know, mostly here on the slope. Kind of want to have a fence around it as well. I'll make it a bit too large because we're about to get another priest involved in the whole thing, so... Let's get it all the way to the edge there. You know, let's fill this entire area. Yeah. I think that should be good. Alright. Time to grow some veggies. Next up, probably the herb garden, if you ask me. Spell the male. Yes, okay. Because if we have a male, we can actually have someone else here in this field. Alright, let's get them in. And let's get them in. Now we have our field here. Apparently it's too large, but I'd rather have it be a little bit too large than a bit too small, if we're being honest, so. Okay. Maybe we need another berry hut. That should probably fix things. Just in no rush currently to grow my population. Not until I've hit another milestone. Wondering why they're not doing anything. They're just standing there. Farm state resting. Okay, so it's just not the cycle. Okay, there we go. We'll have to get rid of a lot of this forest here. Currently we're painting, like they're farming all around it. Let's see if we can start prioritizing that. Let's prioritize getting the farm cleared. Yeah, this is just ridiculous. And I suppose next we'll want to... Oh. It's a female. Nope. Currently all of our houses are completely filled. We need to make space for more houses, which actually, now that I'm thinking about this, I think we finally have healed this area here. So maybe we can finally build another house there. It's worth a try. It's worth a try. So if we fill this whole area in, they just went ahead and already built the house there. Okay. Let me demolish that. Why though? Everybody should have a house. Oh no. Forager doesn't have a house, okay. I'd hope that, you know, they would put a larger house here instead. Could build some houses out here too. I mean, I'm trying to fill this. Yeah, I'm gonna destroy these houses real quick. Seeing what they'll build instead. Oh no, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Because now we're gonna build some really funky houses. Alright, we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, there's another monk. Which means we can start with our herb garden. Extract vegetables and herbs as well. Yeah, I shouldn't have deleted these houses. Oh, well, we're just gonna keep it like this. We have one spot. I'm still not sure why Milla doesn't have a house. Why do you not have a house? Because we have room in one of these houses. I don't understand. Let's levy taxes. Okay, so we have some villagers that are below 25. Which is a bit of a problem. The rustic food shortage is really hurting me. But we've got some vegetables here now. We need another brother. And we're gonna need a stall where we can actually sell these vegetables at. Like I said, we need another brother. Ah, there goes another house. Great. So Milla and Eshiv don't get along. I've gathered that much. They don't seem to be getting along. Alright, we also need to keep an eye on our tools, because we're about to run out of tools. Why? I don't understand. Why did they go from here, down there, and then through here? Oh, come on, guys. I'm hoping this is gonna fix it. It should. It should fix it. Oh, I suppose our market tender left. She used to live. Yep. She was not happy enough, so now she left. Yep. Very much a problem when stuff like that happens. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take... we already have lost one of these guys. Okay, let's just take some people in. It should allow us to have another market tender. We need another monk. That's all of them. Do we need this many herbalists? Okay, well, whatever. Sewing. Alright, well, it is what it is. We're really starting to run out of stuff. We can start selling some herbs though, now that I'm thinking about it. We're not using them for anything else, so let's just sell them. It's really the only reason we're growing them, so we can sell them. And of course, if we had a berry garden here, that might help. Yeah, let's build it. Let's build the berry garden. And let's build this as well. All this is really expensive. We're gonna have to be really careful here, that we're not gonna run out of money. Should we take some people in and build some houses? And okay, let's think about this. If we take some people in, we can probably have some more people actually running around hauling stuff. We'll need the transporter for... Wait. Does this monastic ranch need a transporter or a monk? I actually don't know. I know that this is gonna need a monk or something, right? So we're gonna need to start seeing some sisters here. But that's another building that's going to cost us another 2 maintenance per month, so let's be careful with this. We need to start selling more stuff. We could sell polished stone as well, if we start making it. The only thing I don't like about polished stone, or making polished stone, is that it's a finite resource, right? Until we find stone somewhere, which, you know, might be here, might not be here, might be over there, so I think I want to be a bit careful with the stone. Not sell any, because we might run into a stone shortage actually, considering I don't know where there's going to be stone. Okay, Hmm. We have an empty house. So let's take 2 in. 1 male, 1 female, because we do have an empty house. Which they should move in there. And then we could instead start hunting. We can probably hunt out here. Pretty sure we will be able to hunt out here. Yes, hunting is probably the best thing for me to do right now to make some money. Although it's gonna cost 50 to unlock that, and we only have... Oof. Upkeep is 11, territories is 9. Well, actually, upkeep is 18, and territories is 16. That's 34 in expenses. We sell 19 planks. Why am I buying 19 planks? Should only be buying 13. Oh well. But the mandate is gonna keep us above water. And then of course we're also gonna sell some herbs. Yeah, we should be okay. We should be okay. But maybe I'll wait until I have a little bit more money before I start opening the path to hunting. Okay. They moved in, great. And then having 2 hunters out here, yep, that should work. And then we can just sell the meat until we do something else with it. And of course, the tools are a problem. We're gonna have to start buying some until we can make our own. So weird. Why are we going back there? It's actually for they did this so they go a different path. Because going around the back there is just so weird. The pathfinding is so weird sometimes. But once a path has been established, that path is going to be prioritized. It looks like we're almost done here with the resource removal. So let's go ahead and allow the chopping of wood in here. We're gonna have to be careful about chopping the wood out there though. We might want to actually start reforesting. Yeah, we might want to start reforesting. Might just build this here. No. Oh man, I just don't know. I was originally going to put hunting in here because this is probably really good hunting grounds. Right, this territory here. But I don't want to buy another territory, and if we're not buying another territory, then hunting back here is probably our best bet. Which means... Forester's hut is probably best off somewhere back here. Maybe we're actually gonna build it here. You know what? I like it. Put it right there. Get a blue roof. Let's make sure that they can actually access it. Yeah, no, this won't do. So let's... open a path. And let's build it. It's gonna cost some upkeep. Everything is gonna cost upkeep though. There's nothing we can do about that. We have some veggies though. Alright, and I wanted to build a market stall so we can start selling some veggies. And we're gonna put that stall right there. Could put it right there. Or we'll just put it next to the other stall. Yeah, let's put it next to the other stall. Let's remove that. So actually the tents are just a little bit more expensive up front, but the maintenance is exactly the same. However, this gives prestige. Or splendor, actually, splendor. So we might actually go for it. I know we're spending money that we probably shouldn't, but... yeah, there. Let's not do it yet. Let's not do it yet. And that should be 2 jobs, 1 forester and 1 market tender. More people? No, not yet. Not yet. We're good. More people is also more needs. So until we can actually fulfill those needs, no more. We should also remove this tree. And that berry bush. So that hopefully this field is finally going to be utilized completely. Right. Alright, so our hut here is done. I'm just realizing that the alignment of it is actually really badly done, so let's see if we can actually fix that. Maybe we'll move it back there instead. And then we're gonna have to paint a reforestation area, and we're going to paint this whole area around monastery. All the way. Reason I'm reforesting this whole area is so that we can actually make it more dense, because the denser it is, the more chances there's gonna be some meat. And then of course we're gonna have to think about where we're actually going to be doing the wood harvesting, right? Because we'll obviously need to harvest wood as well, so perhaps, yeah, we should do back here. You know, since you're at it, why don't you just, you know, reforest this whole area as well? Just all of this. I mean, if you're already at it. Okay, we can now assign vegetables here and assign a market tender. And then hopefully we can start actually getting some vegetables to these people. Yeah, we only have one person there. We're gonna need some sisters eventually. Two herbalists, two berry garden, yeah. We need more people on the veggie farm. So let's build this, get some sisters. No way around it anymore. At least we are doing okay. 73% happiness is okay. That's good enough for me to actually take some money from my villagers. Would you look at that? The storage is almost full. Suppose this one dude here has his hands rather full. Constantly bringing the herbs. Might need some more folks there. There's space for a house here, so next two people that come in we're gonna take. And would you look at that? I think there's two people coming. Ah, they're both nuns though. Or at least we probably should make one of them a nun. Wait, how many more do we need? We need 2 more in the veggie garden. Wait, so we need 6 more actually. And and more transporters, okay. Oh wow, okay, I'm realizing there's a problem here. Let's... allow moving there and forbid moving there. Do I want this to be the... do I want the path to be... Yeah, now that I'm thinking about this, doesn't it... wouldn't it be nice to have like a... oh, this is messy. This is messy. Okay, wait, so... I want to have... cross here. Left, right. Yep, okay, that should work. Alright. Gonna sell some planks, that's great. And then I'm gonna sell some herbs too. Let's get these girls. And then devote one of them. But we're only gonna devote one of them because we need another transporter here. Alright, everything's going as planned. The stone down here is almost depleted, and then we're gonna move up to this stone instead. Of course, I think we've built everything now other than the scriptorium and the wall. And I think we're gonna do the wall next. Alright, and here berries and vegetables, please. I don't know where our new transport moved to. Where did you move to? We did have some space, I suppose. We could take two in here. We could also get some more nuns. Okay, let's get nuns. And then maybe 2 transporters. Okay, that's all the nuns we need, I think. Let's see. We still have some space for herbalists and gardeners and okay. We can still have a couple more nuns. Let's get another transporter here. Because this is constantly full, while this has none. Just not ideal. Of course, if they keep going up there to just grab one... You know, maybe we should not have the herbs down here. Now that I'm thinking about this, maybe we should just have the herbs up here. Because then they won't be walking all the way out there. And the merchant can just come here, right? He can just come here and get it from there. It should be fine. Alright, so let's unassign. Oop, up, up. There we go. Okay. Merchant is approaching my village. Okay. I think he's on horseback. Nope. He looked so fast. Do we want to take some people in? They're both women, so... Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. We need a water well up here. I just remembered. Or rather, I just saw that this monk came all the way out here to get water, and that is not ideal. So we should probably plan to build a water well here. Let's slow this down for a second. It's starting to stress me out a little bit. And I think a good spot for the water well would be here. Let's give a blue roof. Build that up. Make sure it's accessible. Right. Just realized that this wheelbarrow is floating. Also very funny. I kind of hate that you can't really assign them somewhere, but oh well. Our monastery is pretty much filled almost. Two more, we can have 2 more nuns, and that should fill all the spots. Herbalists and gardeners we can still have. Alright. Might put a graveyard here. Might. I'm not 100% sure. It seems like it would be a great place for a graveyard. Plus, of course, I want to build a fence, because a fence would be cool. Around this garden here. Boop, boop, boop. Just do a bit of detail work here. It's not really functional, but you know, it adds a little bit of flavor. There you go. Just a bit of something to look at. And I just realized like there's some berry bushes here that I want to get rid of. They're a bit annoying. I don't know why this bush is still here, but oh well. apparently this is still too large of a field, so maybe we will fix that. Like so. Maybe that'll do it. And then we can build more fence. More fence. More fence here. Yeah, let's build fence here. Right, that should do it. Alright. Yeah. Merchants approaching. What about... Oh, I completely forgot about that. Okay, so we could sell some wood, and I think we're gonna do that. And in order to do that, we're gonna actually go ahead and say that we want to start stockpiling it. Oop. Now we're not gonna use it for anything. And hopefully we can actually alright, let's assign this whole area down here also to wood cutting. Hopefully that should be enough. Okay, we're gonna sell some herbs. Boop. Noise. Did we sell some planks too? Yep, we did. Alright, so 37 income. The trade almost covers our expenses with upkeep and territory. Almost. And we didn't have all the herbs that we could have sold, so yep. What I'm looking at right now is the fact that this is constantly full. This is constantly empty. And there's never any berries here. Transporting vegetables, okay. I mean, that's great. But what about the berries? Let's just get one more transporter then. And 2 more nuns. I think we were able to get 2 more nuns. Okay, that's maxed out then. And then let's get 1 more transporter. Boop. And maybe that'll finally build the house over there, because now we're short a house, technically. What's a little annoying is we have a food shortage. And these guys are just chilling here because no one's taking the berries. I'm wondering if maybe it's too far away. You know, it might just be too far away from this granary. So we're gonna have to move it. Because if it's too far away, they're not going to actually go and grab the stuff. So why don't we just move it here instead? Alright, we were finally able to fix it. I had to move this all the way here. I don't know why, but now that we've moved it all the way here, it seems to be working fine. Our vegetable garden is also doing okay. And, oh shit, we completely flunked the quest, didn't we? We had enough wood, we just didn't... Oh my god, I can't believe that. We had enough wood, I just didn't click to deliver. I wish it would just automatically deliver it, but whatever, we failed that. Now we can stop stockpiling this. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I failed that. Well, whatever. Oh, that was funny though. That's hilarious. Alright, over here seems like we've gotten everything pretty dense now. And we're starting to densen up this forest over here as well. Okay, forest is pretty good for us. So having more forest doesn't seem like a bad idea. We are wrapping it up though. It is getting rather late. And I would like to watch a movie and just relax. And so the reason actually why I put this here is because I'm hoping to add a gate here and get rid of a stone and then, you know, yeah, have an entrance to this area from back there. For a moment I was wondering who's over here, who's having their pathing kind of weird again, and it's just our forests are doing their job. Right, so now we have 13 herbs, just about. So we can start selling them. Great. I'm wondering if we need more planters. No, actually should be fine. They can all work together. If we upgrade them though, they will be doing a bit of a better job. Yeah. Alright, how are taxes looking? Taxes are good. We can actually start collecting some again. There we go. 321. That should be a good enough amount to start working on our meat production next time. And like we thought, we have a house here now. That's good. That's great. Awesome. Everything's going exactly as planned. Our little village is really coming along. Got our new well here. Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. Now I can call it a day. So I hope this was enjoyable. I certainly enjoyed myself building this little village, and I can't wait to progress further and see how we are going to do on this map. Next time we're probably going to work on hunting as well as butchering and hopefully on some tool production. We're gonna have to produce our own tools. I'm not sure where I'm going to do that. We're gonna have to find a resource of iron somewhere. So maybe we should also get the bailiff's office unlocked, so we can start maybe looking for iron somewhere and then make our way over there. For now, we might have some iron here, as well as, I think, back there. Is that actually in our territory? I don't even know. Is it? Oh, we can just, okay, yeah, that's in our territory. So we have iron there. There's some more iron there. So we can get some iron, right? And we could also just buy some. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!